Toyota released a new version of their Miura. It's a hydrogen-powered car, and it could be the first step towards a hydrogen trend in the car industry.
Toyota says that it has finally developed a hydrogen-powered engine that will basically demolish electric cars.
Toyota has surprised everyone with a groundbreaking new engine that runs on water. While other companies are focused on electric vehicles, Toyota has taken a bold step forward with this unique innovation. But how does this engine really work, and what impact will it have? Join us as we uncover the details behind this invention that will change the whole world. Toyota's water car shocks the world. Toyota just stunned everyone in the car world with its new invention, a car engine that runs on water. While everyone's been talking about electric cars, Toyota has been busy developing something that might make them seem old news. This new engine uses water as its fuel by turning it into hydrogen with a process called advanced electrolysis. This method splits the water into hydrogen and oxygen. The energy that comes out when these two recombine is what powers the engine, and the only thing it emits is water vapor. It sounds like the perfect way to cut down on bad emissions and could really help with global warming and air pollution. But what Toyota hasn't revealed yet is the one shocking detail that could change everything about how we see this groundbreaking engine. Stay tuned, the truth is more surprising than you think. This engine isn't just about being clean though. It also solves a lot of problems that come with electric cars. Even though electric cars don't produce emissions while they're running, they depend on lithium-ion batteries that cause a lot of environmental problems themselves. Making and getting rid of these batteries takes a lot of resources and can harm the environment. Toyota's water-powered engine gets rid of these issues completely because it runs on water, which is everywhere and renewable. The engine's electrolysis can be powered by clean energy sources like solar or wind, making the whole setup a lot greener. During a recent presentation in Japan, Toyota's big tech boss, Hiroki Nakajima, showed off this new technology. He said that Toyota isn't just about making cars anymore. They want to offer all kinds of new ways to get around, beyond just the usual cars we're used to. This new engine is just one part of that bigger plan. Nakajima wasn't the only one excited about this. He was joined by Takeru Kato, who's in charge of Toyota's electric car division, and Mitsumasa Yamagata, who leads the hydrogen car team. Together, they're working on changing how we think about traveling with this brand new technology. Toyota is already ahead with its hydrogen fuel cell cars, which make electricity by mixing hydrogen from tanks with oxygen from the air. This process is super efficient, uses very little energy, and doesn't produce any nasty byproducts. But this new water engine is something else. It makes hydrogen right when it's needed, so you don't need big, heavy tanks to store it. That makes the car lighter, more efficient, and safer to drive. This is a big deal because storing hydrogen usually means dealing with big, heavy tanks that can leak and are expensive. Water, on the other hand, is easy to store and doesn't have any of those problems. This new invention could change not just small cars, but also big trucks, and maybe even how we power buildings. With Toyota's water engine coming up, we might be seeing the future of how things move around. It's safer, simpler, and more about keeping the planet healthy. But did you know this idea of running a car on water isn't totally new? Before Toyota came out with its super cool water-powered engine, there were a bunch of attempts to do something similar, but they didn't really work out. Way back in 2008, a Japanese company called Genipax made headlines by saying they built a car that ran completely on water, no gas needed. It sounded amazing, but the truth was a bit more complicated. It turned out their car also needed a special material called metal hydride to actually work. So it wasn't really just running on water. And there wasn't any real proof to back up what Genipax was saying, which left a lot of people skeptical. Splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen takes a lot of energy, and it's just not possible to get more energy out than what you put in. This wasn't the first time someone had big ideas about water-powered cars that didn't pan out. In the 1980s, a guy named Stanley Meyer said he made a dune buggy that ran on water and that it would change the world. But when people asked for proof, he couldn't show that it actually worked. And in 1996, he ended up being convicted of fraud. The story of Genipax kind of reminded people of Myers, and soon enough, they started doubting Genipax too. As Toyota's new water-powered engine gets people talking, there have been many failed tries before. Water cars that failed big time. This pattern of big promises and not much to show for it kept up into the early 2000s. Companies like Hydrogen Technology Applications and Genesis World Energy came out saying they could power cars with water. But like the others before them, their claims didn't hold up when people looked closer. Eventually, the truth came out, and some of the folks behind these companies even ended up in trouble with the law. Back in 2008, a guy from Sri Lanka called Tushara Primo made quite the claim. He said he managed to drive a car on water for 190 miles using just 3 liters of water. It's the kind of tale that grabs your attention. Even the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka was all for it, but things took a turn. Not long after his bold claim, Tushara got busted for fraud. Turns out his story was all show and no-go, just like many others who tried similar stunts before him. Moving forward to 2022, another interesting story surfaced from Indonesia. A fellow named Arianto Mel stepped up with his own big announcement. He claimed to have created a device called Incuba that could turn water into hydrogen fuel. Arianto was all over the news, saying his device could keep motorcycles running for 310 miles on merely 1 liter of water. He even went as far as to say that major car manufacturers like Lamborghini and Ferrari were getting in line to get a piece of his invention. However, it didn't take long for this claim to unravel as well. Scientists quickly debunked his device, calling it a fantasy. They also poked holes in his story about the car companies being interested, showing once again that his claims were just another drop in the bucket of failed water-powered vehicle attempts. These stories keep popping up, and each time they end up going nowhere. It makes you wonder if there's a bigger picture we're missing. Could it be that there are big, powerful groups out there stopping these water-powered cars from hitting the roads? While there's no concrete proof, it's not a wild idea to consider. Think about it. The global energy market is a beast, raking in trillions of dollars from fossil fuels. If someone really figured out how to run a car on water, it would flip the entire industry on its head. Those with money and power in the oil and gas sectors have a vested interest in keeping things just the way they are. They might go out of their way to squash any new tech that threatens their bottom line by spreading doubts or even misinformation. Oil bigwigs have plenty of reasons to keep their grip tight. They might lobby against new innovations or spread doubt through the media to keep their competitors at bay. Plus, new ideas always face a wall of skepticism. A car that runs on water? Sounds too good to be true, right? That's exactly what many think, and safety and practicality concerns make folks even more doubtful. Those in power know how to play on these fears, using them to maintain control and keep new, potentially disruptive tech under wraps. Yet Toyota stepping up to the plate could change the game. Unlike earlier attempts, Toyota brings deep pockets, serious know-how, and a solid reputation to the table. They're not just making claims, they're backing them up with real hard science. But how does Toyota measure up against the giants of the electric vehicle world, particularly China and the US? When you look at the EV landscape, China and the United States are at the forefront. China has taken a huge lead by implementing aggressive policies and pouring massive investments into the EV sector. Homegrown companies like BYD, NIO, and XPeng are leading the charge, benefiting from generous government subsidies, a vast network of charging stations, and strong production capabilities. China's push to cut down on carbon emissions and tackle pollution has brought about strict new regulations that favor electric cars. This dedication has paid off with millions of electric cars sold each year and a growing network of chargers. While the water engine looks exciting, electric car companies are moving fast. Toyota takes on Tesla. Meanwhile, in the United States, Tesla is leading the charge in the EV arena. Under Elon Musk's leadership, Tesla has reshaped the industry with its innovative designs, cutting-edge technology, and comprehensive supercharger network. Tesla continues to push the envelope with improvements in battery life and driving range, setting new standards for what electric cars can do. Other major American automakers like General Motors and Ford are keeping up the pace, rolling out new electric models and investing heavily in EV technology. But despite all the advancements, challenges remain, particularly regarding the environmental impacts of battery manufacturing and disposal, as well as the need for clean energy to power these cars. Here's where Toyota's new tech could really make a mark. Unlike traditional EVs that rely on hefty lithium-ion batteries, Toyota's water-powered concept uses hydrogen fuel cells that come from water. This not only addresses the environmental issues tied to battery production, but also offers a cleaner and more sustainable alternative. What sets Toyota's tech apart is the practicality it brings. Refueling a hydrogen cell takes just a few minutes, a stark contrast to the hours it can take to charge a battery. Plus, Toyota's fuel cells can store more energy per weight than lithium-ion batteries, potentially extending the driving range significantly. Moreover, hydrogen for these cells can be produced from renewable sources like solar and wind, making it even more eco-friendly. Toyota has overcome significant hurdles in hydrogen production and storage, developing efficient electrolysis units that need less energy to split water into hydrogen. They've also made strides in storage, using lightweight yet durable tanks equipped with sophisticated safety systems to prevent leaks, ensuring reliability even in cold climates by incorporating heating elements into their hydrogen storage systems. Toyota's approach could be a game changer in the global push to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. By leveraging renewables to produce hydrogen, Toyota's cars could drive with hardly any carbon footprint, marking a bold step towards a greener automotive future. Toyota has been a leader in green technology for a long time. They've been all about hybrid cars and making sure even the old-school gas guzzlers are a bit kinder to the planet. Nowadays, they're doing something pretty neat with synthetic hydrocarbons, basically turning CO2 back into fuel, which cuts down on carbon emissions. They're also into making fuel out of stuff most people throw away, like plant and animal waste. Turning trash into treasure, or in this case, fuel, could be a big deal while we're all waiting for electric and hydrogen cars to become more common. But the real game changer is Toyota's work with hydrogen fuel cells. They've spent a lot of time, decades in fact, figuring out how to make electricity from hydrogen gas. The only thing that comes out of the exhaust is water vapor. That's right, no nasty stuff in the air, just clean energy. They've even gone and secured about 5,000 patents to make sure they stay ahead of everyone else in cleaning up the planet with this tech. One of the biggest things Toyota has done is create the Mirai, which is Japanese for future. It's the first hydrogen fuel cell car that's been mass-produced. They rolled it out in 2014, aiming to make a car that's good for the environment, but also practical for everyday use. It can go over 300 miles on a full tank, and refueling takes about 5 minutes. It shows that being environmentally friendly doesn't mean you have to give up convenience. Toyota isn't just about cars, though. They're also looking into using hydrogen to power buses, trucks, and even generators. They want to lower emissions in a big way, which could help make the future a lot cleaner for everyone. At the heart of this push is their focus on using water to make engines run. So how does this hydrogen fuel cell thing work anyway? It's basically a fancy chemical reaction. The car has a tank of hydrogen, and when it mixes with oxygen from the air, it creates electricity. This is what powers the car. Pretty slick, right? As Toyota works on cleaner energy, the key to their hydrogen fuel cell might show us how we'll power cars and homes in the future. Toyota's hydrogen engine unveiled. In the middle of all this is something called an electrolyzer. This gadget takes water and breaks it down into hydrogen and oxygen with a process called electrolysis, something you might remember from science class. Water, as you know, is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. The electrolyzer uses electricity to split these atoms. It sends power through 2 metal bits dipped in water, and as the power flows, it pulls the hydrogen atoms one way and the oxygen atoms another. This is how they get the hydrogen they need. This hydrogen is then used to power the engine. The engine turns the hydrogen's electric power into the mechanical energy that makes the car move. There's also a smart system in place that controls how much electricity goes to the motor, making sure the car speeds up smoothly and brakes efficiently. When you hit the brakes, the motor actually goes into reverse mode, turning the car's motion back into electricity, which gets stored in a battery. This not only saves power, but also makes the drive smoother. Now, the process of splitting water isn't perfectly efficient. Usually it's about 60 to 70% effective. But Toyota has gotten it up to about 80% by using better materials and optimizing how it all works. After the hydrogen is made, it's stored until it's needed in the fuel cell to make electricity, which then powers the car. Even though the whole setup, splitting water and then using the hydrogen in a fuel cell, is about 40 to 50% efficient, hydrogen has a high energy density. This means hydrogen-powered cars can go farther than electric ones on a full tank. While it might seem complex, the end result is a super efficient green way to get around. Toyota is really going all in on hydrogen power. They've launched an initiative titled, "Let's Change the Future of Cars," with a big goal. They want to elevate hydrogen to a top spot on the global energy stage. They're pushing hard to turn hydrogen into a viable energy source across major markets like Europe, China, and North America, aiming to achieve this by 2030. A crucial element of their strategy is the launch of a brand new hydrogen production facility in July 2024. This facility will focus on the development, production, and sale of hydrogen fuel cells. By centralizing their operations in strategic locations globally, Toyota plans to quickly respond to market demands and changes. This approach not only speeds up their production process, but also helps them tweak their technology based on real-world feedback. Moreover, Toyota is not going at it alone. They are forming alliances with other companies to spearhead advancements in next-generation fuel cell technology. These partnerships aim to drive down the costs of hydrogen production by as much as 50%, making it more affordable. With lower costs, hydrogen fuel could become a more attractive option for a wider range of consumers, potentially revolutionizing how we power our vehicles. But Toyota's vision extends beyond just making hydrogen cheaper and more accessible. They are committed to making hydrogen one of the cleanest energy sources around. For instance, they're investigating innovative methods to produce hydrogen using biogas, which is generated from chicken manure and food waste in Thailand. This not only helps reduce waste, but also turns it into a valuable resource, adding an eco-friendly layer to their hydrogen production. They're also tackling the challenge of adapting existing vehicles to run on hydrogen. Toyota engineers are exploring designs for multi-hydrogen tank systems that could be integrated into older car models. This flexibility would allow more vehicles to transition to hydrogen power, regardless of their age, further broadening the appeal and impact of their initiative. In their pursuit of a hydrogen-driven future, Toyota is focusing on sustainability at every turn. From reducing emissions in production to finding greener ways to generate hydrogen, their comprehensive approach addresses multiple aspects of environmental impact. This not only aligns with global sustainability goals, but also positions Toyota as a leader in the shift towards cleaner automotive technologies. Furthermore, Toyota's commitment to hydrogen technology reflects their belief in its potential to significantly alter the transportation landscape. By investing in research and infrastructure and by fostering cooperative efforts, they aim to create a robust ecosystem where hydrogen can thrive as a mainstay energy source. This initiative by Toyota could have ripple effects across the automotive industry, prompting other companies to explore and invest in hydrogen technology. It sets a precedent for how automotive giants can lead in the transition to renewable energy sources, showcasing a blend of innovation, collaboration, and responsibility. Could Toyota's water engine truly revolutionize the auto industry? Or is there something they're not telling us? Share your thoughts and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.